guys, welcome to a book haul. I have not been buying a lot of books lately, so I feel like some of these books have been sitting here for a while, and I have a lot of fun ones to share with you today. I have a number of books sent to me by subscribers, a couple that I bought full price, one of them was a pre-order, one from a thrift store, and then a book outlet box as well. But before we get into the books, I got a letter in the mail, and I thought this was cool. Let's see, what can I all show you here? One of the prompts for the You've Got Mail readathon was to write a snail mail letter to somebody. So sweet Helen decided to write me a letter, which was really cool. So she sent me a letter, sent me a picture of her family, which I won't show you. She sent me 2 postcards. Oxford, Mississippi, and oh, there's another one. Square books, right. She talked about square books in her letter. That is so cool. I love the vintage style, and the back has like the vintage look too. Love these. So cool. This one is really neat. And then she sent me a little bit of information about square books and the Mississippi Book Festival, and that was just really sweet. That was a surprise in the mail, and I wanted to include this in my book haul, so thank you very much, Helen. So I did mention this book in my October wrap-up. Somebody sent me Shady Hollow. I do not know who. I have not hunted them down yet. It was sent from Book Depository. I want you to tell me who you are so I can say thank you. Please, please, please. This is a cozy mystery where all the characters are woodland creatures, and this is book 1 in, well, it's a 3-book series right now. I'm not sure if it's going to be more or not, but I really enjoyed this one and I'm looking forward to finishing the series for sure. So thank you to whoever sent this, but I really want to know who you are so I can actually thank you personally. And then Emily once again has spoiled me. This is the 3rd or 4th time she sent me books, and this time there were so many books they came in 2 packages. So she sent me all of these, which I feel like in the States it's not a big deal to send people books because you guys have your awesome books and media postage, whatever you guys have there. But this had to have cost her at least $30, probably $30 per package. So that's just for the shipping, you guys. That's insane. So the first thing that she did, very sweetly, sent me a series for my daughter. It's the Penderwicks, and my daughter loves this series, and we did not own these. So the first one is the Penderwicks, and then I don't remember which order they go in. So Penderwicks at Last, the Penderwicks in Spring, and the Penderwicks at Point Muette. I don't remember how to pronounce that. We actually listened to all of them on audio a few years ago, and I know my daughter re-listens to them all the time. So it starts out with a family with 4 girls. Their mother died a number of years ago, and they're going on summer vacation with their dad to this cabin, but it's on a beautiful estate, and there's some kind of like boy who's being very secretive, and I don't know, I loved following them on their summer adventures. And then the other books, I'm trying to remember now, they all take place, no, the one is in spring. A couple of them take place during summer vacation, going to different places and stuff, and I enjoyed the series. The Penderwicks grow up pretty fast throughout the series, and then we follow them as they're older, and then other siblings as they come. So thank you, Emily, for these. And then she sent me a bunch of books too. So she sent me The Hobbit, which is exciting because I'm listening to it. Jared's reading it to us as a family in the evenings right now, and Tolkien is one of Reka and Jared's favorite authors, and that's why we named our cat that. And we have multiple editions of The Hobbit, but I love collecting different ones, and I love this illustration. That is so cool. So she sent me that one. Then she sent me this Sherlock, A Study in Scarlet, and I don't know why I haven't been collecting Sherlock. Like, I'm collecting Agatha Christie in different editions. Why am I not collecting Sherlock in different editions? This is officially the start of that. So this is one of his like actual novels. This one has an introduction by Stephen Moffat. I don't know who that is. I probably maybe should know. If it's some kind of actor person, I won't know. But yeah, this has like the movie TV show cover, and I'm really excited to start my Sherlock collection. And then another one she sent me is Bad Girls of the Bible and What We Can Learn from Them. So this is by Liz Curtis Higgs, and so I think she takes a number of women from the Bible and kind of retells their story, and then I'm assuming has a bit of a discussion about that person. I heard Liz Curtis Higgs speak in person about like 12 years ago probably, and she was so engaging and I learned so much, and I've read a few of her books, but it's been a long time, so I'm excited to read another one by her. So this is A Novel Approach to Bible Study. I just barely talked about biblical fiction in my last video when I was talking about A Lineage of Grace by Francine Rivers, and how I don't read a ton of biblical fiction, but I do like how it makes me stop and think about this actual stories where you can get used to them after reading them for so long, so I think this will be an interesting take on these stories. Okay, a couple more here. Let's go with my one thrift store book. This one cost me a whopping 50 cents, and I am beyond thrilled. So it is Emma by Jane Austen in this UK Penguin English library. I'm pretty sure you can only get these editions in the UK or like from the UK. This is in perfect condition. It still has the Penguin English Library paper in here with, I think, oh yeah, it's got all the covers of all the different ones. I first came across this one of my very first booktubers that I started watching that I never actually talked about because I don't think she posts anymore and her tastes are completely different than mine, is Lucy the Reader. She is British and she has like all of these, and I always loved looking at them on her channel. So I was incredibly excited to find this. I don't know who ordered it and then didn't read it, but I'm very glad to own that now for 50 cents. Okay, and then I've decided to try to change my book buying habits. I'm not sure if this is going to go into a goal for the year or not, but I want to do better with making sure I'm pre-ordering books from authors that I love, which I have done really well with that this fall. And then I also want to make sure that I'm supporting local bookstores, especially independent bookstores. So that's kind of where these books come in. Now this one I've talked about a lot already. The Premonition at Withers Farm. I don't think I hauled this one yet because I don't think it had come by my last book haul. So this is Jamie Jo Wright, two timelines, 1910 I think and present day. In 1910 there is a guy who is killing women in cornfields, and our main character that we're following, her mother is a spiritualist. She's pretty much a medium. Her father was a Christian, but he died a few years ago, and so she's kind of stuck between this, like, does she believe what her mother believes? Does she believe what her father believes? And then present day, we're following a woman who has been struggling with infertility and depression, and her husband have just moved to this new farmhouse that's built on old tombstones, which just creeps me out. And I loved this book, 5 stars for sure. Highly recommend it if you like historical fiction plus like a thrillery suspense, and Jamie Jo Wright just always knocks it out of the park. So I pre-order all of her books. Okay, and then these two, my daughter actually got a gift certificate to a local bookstore for her birthday from my brother, and of course I can't go into the bookstore without buying things for myself. I did share, I think I shared it in a reel on my homeschool Instagram, which I'll maybe see if I can actually leave that linked below if you're interested in seeing it. She bought a bunch of books, my son bought a book, and then I came away with 2 books. The first one I'll share is A Place to Hang the Moon. I just read this one in the summer, and it was 5 stars. We just also listened to it as a family. The audiobook is not as good. The narrator, it's just not as good. This is like if you picture Narnia, you got your sibling set, except we only have 3 siblings here, and they don't end up going to Narnia. They're just shipped out into the country, and these particular ones are, their grandmother had just died, and so they are sent out to secretly see if they can go find a family that will adopt them, but they don't tell people that they actually have a lot of money. So they try out a few different families and see if there's a good fit for them. And there's so many references to books in here, especially like A Little Princess, which I love, and Hot Cocoa, which I love. Unfortunately, I read the library copy in the summer, and tabbed a bunch of spots that I loved, but then I had to give it back. So now I have to reread it so I can tab and highlight and annotate all the things. Really enjoyed this middle grade. And then this one I just shared. It is The Lost Girls of Willowbrook. So I bought one book I had read and one I hadn't at the time. And my daughter bought all books that she had read, because when you're buying books full price, you want to know that you're gonna really like them. And that is my struggle too. I want to support independent bookstores, but what if I don't like the book? You know, I don't like spending, this was $23. I don't like spending a whole lot of money if I'm not going to like the book. So that is a bit of a struggle. So I just talked about this in my wrap up like a couple days ago, because I just read it right after I bought it. This was for the first book for Historathon, and because it has the word lost in the title, we are in 1970, which I didn't mention in my video from a couple days ago, which I should have, because this is an asylum in Staten Island in 1970, and the terrible things that took place. I mean, it's fiction, but like obviously based off of true things. And then you think, okay, yeah, sure, like 200 years ago. But 1970, even though I keep forgetting how far we are into the 2000s already, it wasn't that long ago. So it's crazy to think of the things that were going on. So our main character is one of a twin, and she finds out her sister has actually been at this asylum for the last 6 years and has gone missing over the last few days. So she goes to try to find her and gets mistaken for her, which I do have a little bit of a problem with, because if I was in an asylum for 6 years and I had a twin sister, I think we would look a little different after being in this place for 6 years where you're not being taken care of. And I have some problems with that, but I just, you know, left that aside. And so she gets mistaken for her twin sister, ends up in here, and is stuck in here. So I enjoyed it. It was a 4-star book, maybe 4.5 in my opinion. It's very gritty, but very eye-opening, I think. We are on to the book outlet haul. I thought I would try to open this on here, but honestly, it always rips, like breaks off. Let's see. Success. Okay, so I have a gift or two in here that I won't show you, but I think most of them I can show you. Okay, well, a success, except that it actually didn't. It's like a whole nother layer. Okay, let's just go in random order. The first one I found was Momentous Events in the Life of a Cactus. I just talked about the insignificant, it doesn't have the word "the" in it, but I always want to say that. Insignificant events in the life of a cactus in my reading wrap up I just did, and it was available on Book Outlet when I started working on this order, and then it disappeared before, I mean, it was out of stock before I could order, so I just grabbed book 2. We're currently listening to this. It's really good. We follow a girl named Avon Green. She's born without arms, and in book 1 she moves to a different state and has to figure out how to make friends in a whole different place. And in book 2 here, she starts high school, so she's kind of starting all over again. Love the humor, love like the deep topics. Just have been loving this. Going to buy book 1 as soon as I can. If you guys haven't purchased from Book Outlet yet, which I feel like I talk about it all the time, so most people probably have, when I do book hauls, I generally try to leave my link in the description so you can get $5 off of your first order, and then they'll also give me $5 off my next order. So I did pay money for this, but I think I had like $15 worth of credits, so I think I paid about $20 for all this. Okay. Then we've got Case Closed, Danger on the Dig. So this is another one I had. This is book 4 in the Case Closed series. I had book 3 in my cart as well, Haunting at the Hotel. And then that one went out of stock before I could order this one, or place my order. So these are really cool. We're currently reading book 2 in our homeschool for like our morning read right now, but they are like choose your own adventure. So you get this mystery, and then to do this one thing you go to this page, and to choose this other route you go to this page. And then there are lots of different like puzzles to solve throughout, like random, I don't know what that is, and they're all very different, like different kinds of puzzles. And in the book that we're currently reading, we've failed twice. We went to military boot camp and we got stuck in a room and we're still trying to solve it. And they look like thick books, but you don't read all the pages. But I feel like I've been reading all the pages and we're still not solving it. And I love just all the unique puzzles, and you don't even solve all the puzzles when you solve a mystery necessarily. So if you have kids or you enjoy like choose your own adventure stuff, the one character is a little brother who is super annoying, but other than that, it's good. And I don't think you have to necessarily read them in order, like they don't spoil one, doesn't spoil the ending for the other one. But I want to read them in order. Okay, this next one is like 2 books by the same author. Which one was first? I saw these, I came across these when we were at that independent bookstore, and I was like, I have to look these up. And they are retellings of 2 of my favorite books by one of my favorite authors. Okay, so this one's the newer one. First of all, we have The Gilded Girl. This is a retelling of A Little Princess, you guys. Look how cute this cover is. Yes, I have not read anything about it. Haven't read the back. Nothing. I want to read these so bad. So there's this one. And then she also wrote a retelling of the Secret Garden. So we've got the Tarnished Garden. So this one doesn't say anything on the front. This one says, when times get dark, we must shine brighter. And I just am so obsessed with these illustrations. I don't know if there's illustrations throughout. It doesn't look like it. But the covers looked adorable, and I love A Little Princess. I love The Secret Garden, both by Frances Hodgson Burnett. So I knew I needed to read these. And I did do 1 paperback, 1 hardcover because I was saving money, and I actually prefer reading paperback. But I think hardcover looks fancier on the shelves. Problems. Oh, this one's teeny. I had no idea. This is Christmas with L.M. Montgomery. So, I'm assuming it's a couple short stories of hers. I don't really know what this is, but I was like, L.M. Montgomery, sign me up. A Christmas Inspiration, A Christmas Mistake, and Christmas at Red Butte. Right, okay, so I have read Christmas at Red Butte, I think, because if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that Christmas at Red Butte takes place in Saskatchewan, actually pretty close to where I live, so that's cool. And these are just L.M. Montgomery Christmas short stories. I had no idea how teeny tiny it was going to be. That's really cool. That will easily go on to my Christmas, like winter, what's the word I'm looking for? December TBR, and I can easily get those done. These next 2 books are both historical fiction, and I think both of these were from when Angie just recently did a video sharing her historical fiction books. She was trying to decide if she was going to get rid of them or keep them or what. This one, I can't remember what was on there. This one, When the World Was Ours. 3 friends, 2 sides, 1 memory. And I don't really remember anything about it. I do know that since, I think it was Angie that was talking about this book then, I think since then, Amanda from the Curly Reader also talked about it. So this is 3 young friends in Vienna, 1936. Leo, Elsa, and Max spend a perfect day together, unaware that around them Europe is descending into a growing darkness, and that they will soon be cruelly ripped apart from one another. With their lives taking them across Europe to Germany, England, Prague, and Poland, will they ever find their way back to one another? It's inspired by a true story. I'm not sure if this is like middle grade or YA. Simon & Schuster Children's Publishing. So I'm gonna assume middle grade. There's a content warning for like mature themes and depictions of violence and cruelty related to the Holocaust. So I feel like that's probably middle grade, because generally when you're picking up a book about World War II, you go into it knowing that kind of stuff. So really excited about that. I'm wondering if I can fit this into my like Historathon TBR. I'm just going 1 book at a time there, so we'll see. The other one here I know for sure, except as I say that I question myself. No, I'm like pretty sure Angie's reading this book right now. This is Luck of the Titanic. So this is about a Chinese woman sneaking onto the Titanic, and obviously we all know what happens to the Titanic, but I think because of that she somehow can make her way to America even though she's not legally allowed. I'm not sure, but it sounded like a very different take. Well, first of all, I don't know if I've ever read any historical fiction that hasn't been like middle grade about the Titanic. So that's interesting. But then this would be like a different take than I feel like most would take. So also want to read that one. Okay, I have 2 left. This one is a picture book. This is a present for my daughter. This is Roxaboxen. It is one of her all-time favorite picture books. We get it out from the library once or twice a year. And it just stays in her room for the entire month and she doesn't share it with anybody. It's just about, well, it's based on a true story by the author's grandma, I think. When they were younger, they built what's called Roxaboxen. It's a town where they played as children. They set boundaries with rocks and different things and chose a mayor. My daughter is very, what's the word I'm looking for? She has a great imagination, so she loves this kind of thing. And yes, she's 12. She's getting a picture book for Christmas. But I think she's going to love it because she loves this book. I've tried to get it multiple times from Book Outlet. It always sells out before I grab it, so glad I finally got it. And then the last book is Amari and the Night Brothers. I read this one a couple months ago. It's middle grade fantasy, and in my opinion, more interesting than Harry Potter. I know, guys, I didn't read Harry Potter as a kid, so if you disagree with me, please don't come hunt me down. But Amari, her brother disappeared a number of years ago, and she's struggling in school, and then she gets invited to a summer camp. And on the way there, she has to put in these eye drops, I think they were, or contacts or something. And all of a sudden she can see like the magical world that actually exists around her that she can't normally see. People that have like put up fronts to make them look like people, but really like they're a witch or an ogre or something like that. And there are some twists in this book that I don't feel like ever happen in middle grade books. So that was fun. I like books that keep me on my toes and don't just end the way that I think they're going to end. So I really enjoyed this one. Glad to own a copy. Currently have book 2 from the library. See if I can get to it yet. So there you have it. That is a book haul. I do realize that I didn't leave space in December for a book haul. So we'll see. Maybe I won't even buy any books in December. Or maybe I'll have to squeeze it in with Bookmas. Next week, coming up, I think I will be sharing my December TBR and the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge announcement. But multiple people in my family have been like sick with like a non-COVID but like influenza, like down, fevery, terrible, horrible thing. Assuming I don't get that, that's what will be coming next week. But if I'm silent, then I've succumbed to this illness that just does not look fun. My daughter is very sick right now. So just to give you a heads up of what may or may not be coming next week. I would love to hear some books that you've gotten recently, if there's something from Book Outlet, because I always just keep adding books to my cart there. And then if you guys buy from independent publishers, how do you do that? Even like budget-wise, you can only do that so much. But I find I prioritize books when I spend more money on them. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Thanks for being here, guys.